name is Margaret. I am 18 years old. I live with my father. He's a soldier. My mother unfortunately died from a strange illness 5 years ago. My mother was very beautiful, and everyone knew it. Although she could have had any man she wanted, she fell in love with my father and had me. I inherited my mother's beauty, and I get a lot of attention from boys at school. They even go as far as to shower me in gifts. One day, my father was promoted and had to move to another city. After a lot of discussion and careful consideration, he decided it was best for me to stay at my school. And so, as he moved cities, I moved into a school hostel. It was very hard adjusting at first and very different to home. When I got there, I met 2 other girls from my school called Anna and Rose. They both wanted to share a room with me because I was the, quote, most beautiful girl in school. They both argued and showed me their rooms, trying to be as detailed as possible. Although they were arguing, it made me feel so loved. Anna's room was so clean and tidy, but Rose's room felt so comfortable and just like home. It was a hard decision to make. On my first night there, I was so tired and ready to go to sleep, but I just couldn't sleep. I noticed Rose was awake too, reading. I asked why she wasn't asleep yet, and she explained to me that she only slept for 4 hours every night. I found it a little strange, but tried not to judge. As the morning rolled around, I woke up late. We realized that only Rose had taken a bath, and me and Anna both needed to use the bathroom before we were late. Rose suggested that we both use the bathroom at the same time. I thought it was a good idea at the time, but Anna was very much against the idea. She insisted on having the bathroom to herself. She was very defensive and couldn't explain why. It could have just been a privacy matter, but it seemed very suspicious. Many thoughts crossed my mind as to why she was behaving like this, some more extreme than others. A few nights later, I felt someone groping me and feeling my private parts. I even felt a little discharge. It felt like a horrible dream. In the dream, it was a boy in a girl's wig doing this to me, and I couldn't make out the rest of the features because it was too dark. It was terrifying, and it felt so real. I woke up with a horrible feeling of dread and realized Rose was sleeping right next to me for the first time. I tried not to think about it and rushed to school that day. Later on during the day, I vomited and felt really strange. At first, I thought I was sick, but then I got a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach, and so I decided to get a pregnancy test. To my horror, it came out as positive. I wept on my own that day. When I came home that night, I felt sick and didn't tell either of the girls. I was silent and tried to stay alone as much as possible. When it hit nighttime, I felt sick. I thought about what must have happened and thought who it could possibly be. I found it very hard to sleep that night and felt really anxious. I closed my eyes and pretended to be asleep in hopes that I'd be able to actually fall asleep. And suddenly, I felt a hand grab my thigh and I screamed as loud as I could. Anna woke up straight away and turned the light on. It was Rose! We called the security guard and locked Rose in the room. I was crying my eyes out and Anna was trying to comfort me. The security guard for the campus finally arrived, and when he went in there, we heard some sort of confrontation, and then he came out with Rose in handcuffs. Turns out that Rose was actually a boy called Martin. When he was arrested, he confessed to the police that he pretended to be a girl to make love to girls in the hostel, because he was constantly rejected by girls. Apparently, he fell in love with my beauty. My father immediately moved me away to the place where he worked, and the whole experience has haunted me ever since. So, that was my story. I hope you learned one thing or two. Take care, and goodbye.